welcome everyone to another episode of Action Gems. I am Matt Kohler.
And I'm Richie Watkins.
And howdy doody, even though I already introduced us. But welcome to the first episode, non-interview episode of Action Gems. Today is a very special day because for the first time ever, our man Richie got to watch a show that came out in the early 2000s. A little show called Yu-Gi-Oh!
I got to witness the premiere, the pilot for Yu-Gi-Oh!
He had really no idea what this show was outside of the card game. When we watched a little bit of it before, a couple of days ago, we thought, you know what, this would be kind of fun, a fun segment to do, once in a while as we're getting the interviews going for everyone. Where one of us hasn't seen a show from the past. Mainly shows for kids, a lot of cartoons because those can get very crazy. That being said, we watched probably one of the craziest shows, Yu-Gi-Oh! Which, if you don't know what Yu-Gi-Oh! Is, it's pretty simple. It's a dude who found a millennium puzzle in Egypt who goes from a little boy to a big boy, and he battles creatures with cards known as duel monsters, and it hurts when they duel monster, right?
Oh yeah, let me tell you something about this pilot episode. It does such a job at setting up the universe, and not only that, getting us introduced to those main characters, and it plays throughout like a tutorial for how to actually play the card game. I think it's opened a lot of different doors in my mind to just how to get involved with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Universe. Why is that?
Well, in the first minute of this show, they explain how he found the puzzle and everything. I didn't realize that wasn't part of the show, him finding it. That's like an opening explaining all of Dragon Ball in a minute. It's like, oh yeah, and Goku came flying down, and then he was a Saiyan, and he had really strong powers. He got the Kamehameha, and here we go. Now we go.
Well, I'm sure they're saving that for a later episode. There's a lot of story to cover.
If I remember right, I don't think they ever cover it. I think that's pretty much just what you saw, which I was shocked. It's literally voiceover. This episode is a quintessential how-to voiceover without showing animation. There is so many times where there's no one talking, their lips moving, the animated, and it's just talking. Just constant narration. And a great example of that is, Richie, you should talk about it, because I think it might have been your favorite scene.
Well, my favorite scene, and this just goes into, they have a lot of story to tell, and they only had 19 minutes to do it. And that is when you get the classic establishing shot where it's, it's going up a really large building and you just see the outside of it. And you hear the bad guys talking about how he needs to go and get that Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Yes.
And we're
very famous Blue Eyes White Dragon.
And I'm like, cool, I'm going to get to see the bad guys later. But you know what? They pulled a fast one on us. And that establishing shot was the scene.
Yep, you never see the inside of the building. And what's crazy about that, too, is I was shocked that they actually did that. That is something that
was innovative.
Samurai Cop didn't even do that, which, by the way, that's a little plug for the Mark Frazier episode right there.
Yeah, go check that out if you want a whole episode about innovation.
But, so we start off with the episode, obviously, with the intro. And then, of course, Richie got to hear in full the theme song. The theme song where there is a part where someone goes, it's time to duel. And then funky techno. This was a weird time for theme songs.
Hey, that was a way to let people know that there's a lot of action to be had with this show.
I think this is where techno died.
Let's see, this was around 2005.
2000.
Oh.
Yeah, this was straight 2000.
You saying Yu-Gi-Oh! Killed?
No, kids shows always kill stuff, so hear me out. So in the 90s, you had all the rock theme songs, like Sonic the Hedgehog having a random guitar riff, or Captain Planet, which I like these theme songs, but then you get the worst ones like Street Sharks or Biker Mice from Mars. real creme de la creme theme songs.
So by that rationale, do you think Goosebumps killed hip hop or old school hip hop with its theme song?
I think Goosebumps might have shat all over hip hop. Like, I think Tupac died, and then R.L. Stein took an R.L. crap all over all over Tupac. Yeah, and then in his intro he's like, "Oh, Goosebumps, here you go." Well, anyway, so yeah, this theme song, although semi catchy, it really sucks in context because it's like here's how we're going to explain the universe in a minute. Theme song. And then we go to our favorite characters, which you probably don't know their names, but I think they are Joey, Tristan, someone else, and Yugi. Did you get any of those names?
I did not get the names. I more so was distracted by the 10-minute long third act.
Well, did you know that the main character is Yugi?
I knew that, but I had forgotten.
Okay. So, like, that's something that you did know. But did the episode tell you that?
Once.
Oh. Okay. Well, so, in our first scene of seeing our heroes, they're in school, which it looks like there's no teacher there actually teaching. They're just playing cards. They're just playing Duel Monsters. And they're in Japan, I think. But Joey Wheeler is from New York.
Joey Wheeler's the exchange student.
Yo, man. Yo, Yugi, we gotta go to... I'm from New York.
And of course he's named Joey.
Oh, yes. And well, at least he doesn't have like a IE sounding. Like he's not like Venatori or...
what was his last name?
Wheeler.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there's a sinus infection Tristan, who's always like, "Hey, Yugi!" Like, he always sounds completely stuffed up. And then you have the female character, which I can't remember her name. I don't think...
Well, see, I'm excited for future episodes because I think they're going to flesh out all of these characters.
I mean, they don't do a bad job for a kid's show. So I'm
going to get to learn more about Joey's New York origins and how he had to leave New York.
No, but you get more about how he sucks at Duel Monsters and he wants to get better. So if you're looking for that kind of story arc, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is for you.
Now, another thing I notice is the Blue Eyes White Dragon is very pertinent to the script because I think I feel like it's used every fifth word.
Oh my gosh. It was just like... People gawked over a Blue Eyes. So after the so they skipped school apparently because we have no idea if there's any teachers here. So they skip school and then they go into his grandfather's Yugi or Duel Monsters shop. So yes. I don't know if Jaden Yugi has parents. I guess he just has a grandfather, and they're just sitting there gawking over the Blue Eyes White Dragon, which is kind of weird because that makes you think. They've never seen it before. So did he just get it? Did he just come from a trip? They don't explain that at all. He just... Because all this show is you see a shot and they're already holding something. Or they're already there in the position.
Right.
And their mouth is just moving. And then Kaiba comes in to gawk over it.
And tell everyone that he's amazing.
And he's rich.
The biggest douche you'll ever meet.
Now here's where it gets really tricky. So... Kaiba's like, "Hey, I will pay a crap ton of money to buy your Blue Eyes." And in the back of my head, I'm like, "Grandpa, you got to do this because you can pay for everything. Yugi's education, him to have like a house, he'd be set for life.
Birthday sex."
Yeah, birthday sex. And then Grandpa's just like, "Nope, this card means more." It's like, this is a fucking card. If I had this random card, now he says it's a dear friend of his.
Yes.
But I guess that matters more than his grandson's future.
Well, yeah, he had loyalty and integrity to whoever the hell.
Yeah, we don't see him. I don't think we ever do.
Oh.
Next time we see him, he's like crippled.
Yeah.
From
Was there something wrong with his balls? I couldn't tell.
no, he is hunched over and he
Right.
got his. So they kind of make you believe. I feel like that Kaiba and his goons just kicked the shit out of him.
That's also something you don't see.
Yeah, because it's like, so they beat the shit out of him, and it's like, oh no, he just lost a game of Duel Monsters.
Well, maybe they wanted to leave some stuff to your imagination.
I mean, no, he lost a game of Duel Monsters. That's why he's hurt. So they're like, so this game just beats the shit. Why are people playing this? Because the first scene, you're like, okay, they're playing the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, cool. And then like the next time you see it, you just see grandfather like post heart attack. It looks like, because then we're going to the hospital and he has an oxygen. You know, he's getting some oxygen, and we actually have no idea. Did they actually tell us if he made it?
They show him making it at the end because I think he like woohoos at the end when Yugi wins.
I honestly think in a lot of ways they're just ripping off Rocky 3.
Well, yeah, sort of. I mean, they make
Oh
you.
my gosh! Yeah, so Kaiba is Mr. T. Kaiba walks in challenging pretty much Yugi. Yugi refuses. He pretty much kills Mick
Oh,
or
wow.
grandfather, and then
Wow.
he challenges him, and then he beats Kaiba or Mr. T.
That's a good touch.
Yeah.
I also appreciate that they make callbacks to Rocky 3 by showing a vision of Kaiba when Yugi's down on his luck in that
You mean a vision
duel.
of grandfather?
Who did I say?
You said Kaiba.
Ah, yes.
There's
Vision. When he's dueling Kaiba, he is having a vision of Grandpa, and then it just segues into a memory of Grandpa.
All right. So, Grandpa is beating the crap out of it. Now we get to the famous duel between Yugi and Kaiba, in which Richie was completely shocked when he saw a child turn into a, I guess, teenager / adult.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't get that much older. I mean, he starts out at like what, 8?
Well, he's actually in high school.
He looks 8.
I mean, but he's just short.
Yeah.
But at least I think, otherwise, why is he hanging out with a bunch of high schoolers? Like, Kaiba looks 30. Like, he looks 30. And Joey Wheeler is probably, like, 40.
Okay, so Yugi like ages what, 5 years if he's
I
actually in high
guess.
school.
Well, yeah, I mean, like... But then, he's, like, teen years when he grows into Yugi. Because didn't you hear his voice kept changing? It'd be like, Kaiba, and then it'd be like, Kaiba. It's like, wait, his voice is cracking?
Well, Yugi has other challenges he needs to figure out in his personal
yeah, he's
life.
got to figure out how to become a man.
Oh, wow.
That's what the show's really about.
So in the next 200 episodes, we're going to delve into like his personal
yeah, what it's like
issues.
to like women or men.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's Yu-Gi-Oh! Probably. Well, anyway, they start dueling, and it really sucks because...
Oh, I mean, they flesh it out. It's a good 12-minute duel.
Yeah, but there's just a lot of, like, holding a card, looking at it, and then saying dialogue in their head, then playing it, saying something a bit, and then the person reacts to it.
And you catch like 2 seconds of each creature that they unleash.
Yep. But honestly, the best part was, yeah, like you said, it was when Grandfather appears in, like, a vision.
Yeah.
And just, like...
It's like, is he dead?
Yeah, they make it out to be like he's dead.
And then he has a memory of him, and it's like, well, that's interesting, because usually you see one or the other.
But he saw both, so he might have... Maybe turn the puzzle means he just, like, takes, like, some coke or... some LSD.
Yeah, the puzzle, that really threw me for a loop.
They don't explain that at all. It's literally the opening scene, and it's like, okay, I guess he has this thing. They never touch on it. It's just like, yep, you have this thing. How?
So they never show
Like, at least
it.
the freaking Power Rangers got that right. They stumble into it, and then they become the Power Rangers. It's not like episode 1, they're already Power Rangering it up.
Well, you know, I'd say that's one thing that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has over a lot of shows today is it plunges right into the action. doesn't require you to watch for hours on end.
Nope. And speaking of which, Kaiba has, apparent shocker, he has 3 blue eyes, even though we knew because he told us like 3 times in his head. So he has 3 blue eyes, and shocker. This show is so fucking predictable, mainly because a show about cards is really hard to have suspense when it's like, well, of course he's going to draw it.
Yeah, no, I wasn't into the whole card thing.
So what were you into?
I really appreciate how we don't really get to see the bad guy's lair, but then you get to see a different bad guy's lair at the end with that crazy eye.
Pegasus, yes. Who somehow knew the duel was happening seconds later. But so you don't like the card game? You don't like watching the duels?
I found it rather predictable and what's the word? Sterile, because it just kind of like I don't know. It kind of felt like the animated version of just watching someone play it in a comic shop.
So Yu-Gi-Oh wasn't your boat. So pretty much half the show then you're not into then, because that's pretty much the show is people wandering around and dueling each other, then gawking over it like they're seeing something that they've never seen before.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna give it a whirl, but you talked me out of it.
Oh, well, it sucks for you because we'll watch it again.
Okay.
But, so yeah, as if you probably have seen the episode, which, if you're watching this, most likely. So Kaiba has the 3 blue eyes, whoop-de-doo. Yugi has Exodia. So, Richie, can you explain what an Exodia is from that episode?
Well, an Exodia can mean a lot of different
Nope, you gotta
things.
explain this. No BSing it. Go right into it. It's okay. No pressure.
There's a lot of things that would go on in the episode, and I feel like I'd have to watch it again.
Nope, don't bullshit me. What is an Exodia from that episode?
I don't even remember that name being uttered.
Wait, really? You didn't hear?
I heard a lot of different names. I mainly heard Blue Eyes White Dragon.
So you never heard Exodia, even though he yells at the top of his lungs, Exodia obliterate?
Yeah, that all just ran together.
You're just like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, I was still trying to keep up with the duel.
Yes, the exciting duel. Because, yeah, then like an explosion happens and Kaiba's hurt from it. And then Yugi uses his ever-famous power of mind crushing. So this is a little fun thing. So he says, open your mind. In the original, in the manga, he actually killed Kaiba. He killed Kaiba's evil self and sealed the evil in his heart or something. And so he pretty much had to piece together his life after that. Fighting Yugi is like, you might potentially die. Where in this, he just says, open your mind, and Kaiba just kind of looks like he said something really dumb.
Yeah, that's what got me excited for the show, because you were telling me about he does that to people in the manga. He turns his opponents into vegetables once he's
Pretty
done
much.
with them. Yeah, I was disappointed I didn't see it in this show.
Yeah, you didn't see any drooling.
I just really wanted to see some lives crushed and, yeah, people thrown into vegetative states from a card game.
Yeah, but what you did see was Grandpa was A-okay, and we saw who the big baddie was, which is a dude sipping wine with one eye. And that's Yu-Gi-Oh! What'd you think?
What did I think?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I did think at the beginning that I was excited to watch, more of the show, the rest of the 200 episodes. But you're just telling me that it's not really worth checking out. Good stories take time, Matt.
Yes, and in anime, they definitely take time. Which is why we'll let this one sit for a bit. Next week, we will have a new interview, and then Richie and I will tackle a new show with similar problems.
And we're gonna give it a fair chance, and maybe our hopes won't be dashed that it's actually gonna be a good show.
Because life's fair, I think.
But either way, this has been Action Gems, where we find them
And you watch them.